All right, we're live, baby. Yeah.
Oh Jesus. Okay.
Hello.
Welcome to another episode of Desperate for Content.
Yet
Uh,
another.
Not the Austin Powers enthusiast podcast.
I'm only going to talk like this for the whole podcast, baby.
Oh no.
No, I'm not. Don't worry. I can't keep it up. It's too much. Too much
Yeah,
effort.
that's my problem. But less said about that, the better. So what's been happening with you, pal? What's big in the
Yeah,
dam?
good.
Are you still in the dam?
I'm still in the dam at the moment, and I mean, so by the time this pod goes out, it'll be past Monday, won't it?
Yes.
So I can confirm here exclusively. Not really exclusively, because I'll probably post it on my Twitter tomorrow anyway. Start my new job tomorrow.
Ooh.
I left my old job last week. It was my last day on Monday. It was weird because it was my last day on Monday, last morning, but it was all online. So it was just like I just logged off. Do you know what I mean? Just like I just logged off and that was it.
Damn.
Like,
Do you have any work peripherals you have to send back or anything?
I took everything back last week.
Oh, okay.
So I took everything back last week. And my last day was just basically popping online to handle a couple of things and just saying, like, see ya. You know what I mean? Like,
Rip.
see you later. I'm gone. And then so I start my new job tomorrow.
Okay, and we both know that that new job is you're going to be an officer for the SAS.
Yeah, absolutely. I am
SAS
born to dare, born to survive, whatever the fuck. Bear Grylls, yeah.
Days wins, you muppet.
Yeah, all that. Yeah, same thing.
It's not gay if we're floppy.
Same thing.
Yeah, all that stuff.
No,
but what really are you willing to share? Or is it going to be a big surprise?
Yeah, so that's the thing. I was thinking I might as well share it because I'm starting tomorrow, and this will be released afterwards, won't it?
Yes, no, I'm going to release it tonight just to spite you.
So I'm going to be doing influencer relations on Magic the Gathering over at Wizards of the Coast. I'm going to be handling the UK for that.
Cool.
It also includes a little bit of social media, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm excited to work on it because I mean I love Magic. I've played Magic when I was a teenager. It's all I did during high school.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was. It's pretty exciting. It's new. It's something very different.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
So, how's that looking in terms of working remotely, lockdown, and all that stuff? Because
so
it's a card game. It's usually I know there's a digital equivalent of it.
Yeah, so the digital equivalent is basically going to be my main focus.
Okay.
It's going to be divided, but I think it's probably 80% digital.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's going to. Oh, excuse me, too much Coca-Cola. It's not sponsored. It's going to be mostly focused on the UK, and for the game predominantly because it's the easiest way to get things out, right? It's the easiest thing to work with, and probably some offline event stuff as well. But I'll be working remote for now, because of the pandemic and stuff. And then when things are sort of calmer, I'll probably be moving.
Nice.
But we'll see. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's I don't know, because it's gaming, but it's also not. It's it's very. I've worked in the game industry for 7 years now. Yeah, exactly. So it is still a game, but it's very different. It's a very it's a hobby thing, right? And it's also something that a lot of people enjoy. A lot of people sort of like it regardless. It's one of those things that sort of exists adjacent to games, to video games.
Yeah. Part of
I think it should be interesting.
Culture.
Yeah, it should be different. It should be very different, but I'm excited for it.
Okay, but how are you going to deal with opposing factions? So say I turn up at your home when you eventually settle down. I'm throwing Yu-Gi-Oh cards at you. What are you going to do?
It's fine by me, mate. Fine by me. I will just wave my superior card game banner. Hopefully they send me a banner. Can I get a banner?
That would be nice.
Hopefully they send me a standard bearer. That would be nice.
That would be cool. Maybe one of those gammons instead of a St. George's flag in your window. It's just Magic the Gathering symbols.
Yeah, well, they send him in a Wayfair cabinet.
So I guess my next question, which is possibly the most important, is as you are technically going to be working in the area of Wizards of the Coast in terms
I
of
am a wizard.
corporate proximity, can you get me all of the very expensive D&D books for free?
Um, Probably not, but
That's a yes, ladies and
I'm not. Uh,
gentlemen.
I'm not going to confirm much, but I can probably. I'll talk to you later. I can probably do
Nice.
something for you. I'll talk to you
Excellent.
later.
Or at least get me into the building. I'll do the rest of the work. We'll
Yeah,
cut
I'll get
this
you in the
part.
building. It's fine.
Um,
Don't listen to this. My boss won't listen to this. It's fine.
that's good. That's fine. Nobody listens to this, just us.
Yeah, nobody listens
Um,
to us anyway.
so, in terms of, I'm going to share big
Go on.
news,
Give us
huge
big
news.
news.
Tomorrow, well, we're just full transparency, recording this on a Sunday around midday.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, on Monday, the 3rd of August, me and Laura are going to see what will potentially be our newest family member.
Oh.
I'm pregnant. No, I'm kidding. It's not a scan or anything. We're going to see a puppy,
Oh, that's fantastic.
and her name is Pickle, and she has
That's
a
cute.
huge head. So I've been calling her Megamind, and Laura's been telling me off for calling her Megamind. I'm obviously not
Please
going
do
to
call
call
her
it.
Megamind.
No, we've got to call her Pickle. We really like the name Pickle, but so
What
we're
kind of
very
dog is she?
a pug.
Oh, of course she is. She's called Pickle. Of course.
Yeah, actually, she was called Pippa, but we were asked if we wanted to change the name, and to not confuse the dog, we wanted to like have something close
So
to.
it's similar.
Yeah, that's just a little pup. And
That's
yeah,
cute, man.
so
Good stuff.
for a long time we went. Pardon me, too much Coca Cola, not sponsored. Um, we weren't allowed pets in this house, but we've been here for a year, and our landlord's decent. Yeah, like every time that something fucks up, he gets it fixed within. Even though there's only two things ever gone wrong, like one of the taps stopped working one time, and I can't remember what the other thing was. It was so minor, but he's like always on top of it. And like our fence nearly blew over when the winds were pretty bad in England a couple of months ago, but the fence stayed up. We weren't too bothered about it, but he voluntarily just came around. Was like, "Do you want us to just get someone in to fix the fence?" And we were like, "Yeah, absolutely." So he's a good lad, and he lives locally, but he works away. And so we've lived here for a year. We haven't given him any bother. He's not given us any bother. Like, you hear the horror stories about landlords being like terrible, but this guy's fine because I think he's just a local lad.
That's good though. That's the thing.
So we just like, we've been here,
Landlords in
yeah. I
general.
think we've built up a bit of trust. Can we have a dog if it's small? And he's like, yeah, I'm happy to
You down with
allow
it?
a
That's
pug.
good.
So we went out looking and we found a little pup. So hopefully that huge headed little pug's going to join our family. It's not free to leave its mother until the 14th of August, so it'll be about 2 weeks till we actually attain the pug, but we'll get to visit it tomorrow, which is nice.
That's dope though, man.
And
Congratulations.
it's not from a breeder or anything, so it's nothing morally reprehensive about what we're doing. Because you get them and like, oh, I've bred like 1,000,000
Like
pugs.
100, yeah.
This one's black. It's a bitch. Selling it for whatever. No, it's just this family owns 3 pugs and 2 of them got it on, so they had a litter. And they've been giving us regular updates, pictures of the pup, so they obviously care about it. And the advert itself was like they had like little bios for each of the pugs, and they're coming from a family that's just like really likes dogs, and they asked us for the visit if we wear masks and stuff, so they're conscious of like the pandemic and all that stuff. So all signs are green. We're very happy. So
That's fantastic, man.
can't
Great
wait.
to hear. Good
Yeah.
stuff. I need pictures and videos though for sure.
Oh, of course, yes, those will arrive soon. I'm not going to post the pug on social media and stuff until like we'll take pictures, but we won't post them straight away because we want to focus on raising the little thing because we don't want to just get it for the social media clout. But I can confirm it's got a massive head. I was like, "Is that Ant McPartlin?" And Laura's like, "Shut up!" I'm like, "It's got an Alan Shearer forehead."
Ant McPartlin.
Yeah,
Please call your dog Ant McPartlin.
no, because if it gets into the car, it's going to be the end for everyone.
Fuck. Right.
Oh,
See you
to
later.
do.
Yeah. See you later. I'm done.
Controversy. That's what you listen to this podcast for. So, in terms of, I mean, we touched on it before we opened the pod, and we're recording this
Just a little
slightly
plug.
late because somebody was playing video games. What have you been
Bro,
playing,
I was deep in Tsushima. I'm sorry. I've been playing that game for like I'm trying to think of how long I've been playing it. It must have been like over 20, 30 hours by this point.
Yeah.
I'm just still doing side quests, bro. I'm all in. I'm all in. Like, it's got me. It's wrapped me up.
I'd have probably gotten it by now if it was on PC, just out of curiosity. But
Yeah.
the effort of having to set up a PS4 gives me the fear. So
Hey, tell you what is good, by the way, just to go off on a tangent, because you
Hmm.
said PC, so I'm going to use it as an excuse to talk about another game.
yeah.
I've been playing Fall Guys. That's fucking fun, man.
How have you been playing it? Like I've
It's
seen people play
got a
posting.
beta key, don't I?
Oh,
There's like a technical test going on.
oh, I didn't know.
But yeah, it's like, mate, I swear, it's so fun.
I
I
know,
didn't
like
expect it to be that fun, but it
every
is.
one of
It
my
really
friends
is.
is getting it when it comes out on the 4th.
Like
I'm
I'm
buzzing.
100% getting it too. We'll have to have a bash. It's so fun, man.
Do you know if
Like,
you can? Uh,
it's just silliness, isn't it?
do you know if it's like Gang Beasts where you can have two people from one computer join? Like,
I'm really not sure because right now it's just beta in it, so it's just like
yeah,
very minimal options, just like play game, pretty much.
yeah, because
But
we love to play
like,
Gang Beasts and stuff, and but Laura doesn't have a PC as strong as mine, so she can't run Gang Beasts. So we just both like plug in a controller into my PC and play through there. And Fall Guys looks like a lot of fun, the type of game we'd want to play. But
it's very like Gang Beast sort of.
yeah,
What's that other one? Human Fall Flat, like
yeah,
that
that
kind
was a
of
good one
stuff.
as well.
Like but it's just so fun. Like the games are just hilarious. Some of them are annoying as fuck,
Mhm.
and some people are annoying because there are people that will just grab you, like
Yeah,
just to piss you off.
mhm.
Like, it's not even in their benefit to grab you because they should be running.
I will be one of those people.
Well, they're just like, "Oh, come here!" You're like, oh, fucking, like, stop it. Yeah, but it's great fun, man. I think with the full release and all the extra games and stuff like that, no,
Yeah.
it's got some time in it. It's fun.
Yeah, I just want something silly. I mean, speaking
Otherwise,
of games that are silly, I've been playing Destroy All Humans remake, and it's
yeah, they're good.
yeah, it's great. Like it's one of those games me and my brother really liked. We played the first one, the second one. I think I was the only one out of us who played the third one because it came out in 360. And by then, like my brother had different interests. He didn't care about games anymore, and he just sort of went on
Just
to do his
faded
own thing.
away. We
Yeah,
lost him, boys.
but it was just nice to play a game that we loved, and I had noticed that because I've got my brother on Steam and he bought it as well, and he's been playing it as well. So it's just nice to be linked without having to talk to him because I hate him. I'm kidding. I love my brother. But yeah, it's really good, and I've seen loads of people whinging about it, like, the difficulty spikes, there's difficulty spikes in it. But it's one of those games where you complete an area, and it's almost mandatory to go back and do like the challenges and stuff to get more of the points to upgrade your shit. So when you go forward, you're more prepared. But people just like because it's like a game from 15 years ago, they expect to like cakewalk it.
Yeah. I think that's it. I don't know. Some games just don't age well, and some
Yeah.
really do. I think like games that are more simple in terms of design, like both visually and
Hmm.
sort of like mechanically, they age fine. Like
Yeah.
I feel like I would much rather play like um an old like NES game or something
Yeah.
than like a PlayStation 1 or PS2 game in some cases
Yeah.
because they just age better because they're so simple.
Yes. No, absolutely. Like, say if I was to go back and play, I don't know, Tomb Raider 2, it would just give me a headache. But if I want
Yeah,
to play
exactly.
like I don't know, fucking Dragon Ball Z Legend of Goku for the Game Boy Advance, where it's just a top-down RPG. Like, yeah,
Yeah, exactly. I think it's because like mechanics have gotten so much better
yeah,
for like FPS, third person shooters, like open world games and stuff like that. That when you go back and play others, they just feel jank. They just feel super janky. Like I was chatting with my friends about what do you call it, Knights of the Old Republic.
yeah,
Knights of the Old Republic is a brilliant game, but it did not age well.
yeah, absolutely not.
Like trying to play it now, it's so jank, and it just doesn't feel like it doesn't feel good.
Hmm. Like, I love the first one.
Great game,
The
really good
second
game.
one, I only got halfway through because I got the disc secondhand, and it was just fucked. So the bit where you go to that planet with all the women in the grey robes with the blue lightsabers, um, it just kept dying at that point. So I never finished it, and then when it came on Steam, got it in a sale, and I tried to play through it because I was like, I'd never completed it. I want to go back and complete it. I couldn't. Absolutely not. And it's a shame. Like I have loads of memories from the first one. It was a lot of fun. Every one of my characters was called Eric Shin. Um, like
All of them.
Obi-Wan. Yeah, because I'm an adult.
But the thing, like I don't know, like some games from that era really did age well. Even some by like the same company. Like
Yeah.
I'll talk about this like till the cows come home. I think that Jade Empire is the best BioWare game, hands down.
Never played
I
it.
think it's absolutely the best game they've ever made. It's super, super good. The story's good. Like the game feels fun. The combat's fun, and that I think has aged fairly well. I think you could still play that because it's different mechanically.
Yeah.
It's more of like it's just different. It's just different mechanically. So I think that has aged fairly well. But it really depends. I think it just depends on. We're kind of spoiled now, right? Like we have all these really good games with all these super like in-depth mechanics and stuff that when you go back, you're like, ugh, I just can't deal with this. Like, if I don't have all these nice little things, if I don't have these nice little extras,
Yeah.
I
Well, I
can't do it.
think if we're talking about games and how they're progressing, we'd be remiss to not talk about recent developments in gaming. And how do you feel about the Halo Infinite demo and the memes that have spun off of it because that brute and his
Right.
little
So
face?
thank you for bringing that up because I absolutely adore the brute. Like, I think that's the funniest shit. It's
It's very
so
much
funny.
in line with my current platform, which is along the lines of a sentiment that's been growing on Twitter over the past, I want to say, 2 years of rejecting modernity and embracing monkey.
Oh,
Um,
and Prim.
absolutely, yes.
Hey, we're going and Prim,
Yeah,
boys. Return to Monkey. Hey, I like the fact that we haven't even spoken about this before, and we've both been talking about the same thing in private.
exactly. Yes, it's like none of this. Oh, we've got to think too much. The world is a terrible place. We're all doomed, and all that stuff. Because that's too pessimistic. I think a lot of our problems would be solved if we return to monkey. Because you get people who want to be big brain, all these IQs thinking about um, all these problems in the world, and they just depress themselves. I
Let's
believe it
say
was
hypothetically,
I believe it was
my feet are stinky.
the hit
Yeah,
band The Block Party have a lyric along the lines of this. So, what was it? The smarter you get, the sadder you get. Some
I
shit.
mean, true. But get Ted Kaczynski on the phone.
Yeah. So I don't want none of that. It's sort of like, but the thing is, like, returning to Monkey is a plane above all these so-called intellectuals, these philosophers, because people take one look at the whole Return to Monkey and they're like, that seems like something an idiot would do. But no, it's someone who's breached through the threshold, and it's like,
This is
so
very, very Kaczynski here.
you start off
Like,
you start off sort of ignorant to everything. You learn more. I've just remembered the lyric. It's the something along the lines of the smarter you. No, I've lost it again. I'm returning the monkey live on air. But no, it's like you're ignorant, and then you learn more, and it gets sad because you're like, oh, everything's shit. But then you start to accept the absurdity of the universe and everything, and you're like, you know what? I am a fucking monkey.
yeah.
So let
I
me just
mean,
be a happy monkey. Let me just like treat other people kind, give them a banana, everything's cool.
which is true, but I mean, like, there are some gorgeous things that this horrible capitalist society has brought me, such as the nice flavor of Coca-Cola Zero Sugar that I don't think I'd be able to like live without.
But I would argue that is that plays into returning to monkey because you're not worried about like the chemicals. You're just like, taste good, monkey brain happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean this is true. Like,
It's
but
almost inspirational. Returning to monkey is just a roundabout way of saying do what makes you happy.
yeah, but like it also means destroying industrial society, which
I mean, if
I
that
mean,
is if we have to
Ready to take
sacrifice a
up
few
arms for
things,
that? That's fair enough, but
yeah.
I mean, fair dues. Fair dues.
What is more productive? Having a society built on capitalism where we sling hurtful things at each other, or a meritocracy based in Monkey, where the only thing that gets slung is easily dodgeable shit?
Yeah, but what if, like, I don't know. What if we just start things all over again? Do you know what I mean?
Well, then
Like,
you're
we
entering.
return to Monkey, and then, like, years down the line, once, a lot of us are dead, and the only thing the generation below us know is Monkey, right?
Mhm.
And then those guys like, hang on, I've just found this thing. Like, I just found this. Like, if you combine this with this, it does this, and you're like, stop, please, no, not
You
again.
better put that down.
Like some little guy comes along and he's like, "Yeah, I found this thing called the Ben Shapiro podcast on an ancient like hard drive." Like, no, God,
My
that would be my
favorite,
worst nightmare, dude.
but I would argue that Ben Shapiro is
Fucking hate
slowly
Shapiro.
returning to Monkey himself, because I remember like it was like some like video going around of him talking at like some keynote, whatever. And I also want to caveat this with it's got no relation to what I'm about to talk about. But Ben Shapiro is only like 3 foot tall, which is hilarious.
He is
Um,
tiny.
but like, and he was like, "Oh, well, so I think he was denying global warming or some shit, or like some idiot thing that he tried to spin to make himself look intellectual." But he's like, "Oh yeah, if the sea levels rise, people who live on the coast can just sell their houses and move." And I'm like, "Who are you gonna sell?"
To who?
Yeah,
Fucking
like,
Aquaman, Ben.
yeah,
Classic
there's that
video.
video, but like the obvious counter to that is like, oh no, like people wouldn't buy the houses because they know they're going to sink, so we just sell them to the government or something. But who would buy land that's going to be
Right,
underwater?
exactly.
Like,
I think one thing that I've noticed, and this is, I mean, I think we've spoken about this before. Like, in case you guys who are listening are not aware that I am like, and I believe that you are as well, very leftist. We're very like
yeah,
very left wing folks. So if you're a Shabino fan, then it's probably not the place for you. But
help,
one thing
liberals!
I've
I'm trapped
noticed.
inside the speed.
You're liberals. I am trapped inside this beam. But like I've noticed that grifters like him have started to lose credibility. I mean,
Yeah,
not that they had credibility in the first place, if you actually, if you can actually understand what they're saying
yeah,
and you think about it logically. But amongst their own sort of bases, I think they're starting to lose credibility because they're starting to say things that are outlandish. They're
yeah.
starting to say things, especially with the current like pandemic.
Mhm.
I think even a lot of the alt right and conservatives and stuff, believe in masks because it should be
Yeah.
a bipartisan issue.
It
Um,
shouldn't be, but I
it's
think
'cause it's not a political issue, really.
in a lot of like right wing things, they're very much like, oh, science, blah blah blah. Don't put morality into it. Like, do science if it's
Exactly
whatever.
that. And
So
then in
like,
this case,
this is a very scientific thing. Disease kill people. Maybe we prevent it.
yeah, and I think a lot of the right are basically just they always do this. They just try being contrarian.
Yeah.
Whatever the other side says, I'm going to say the opposite, or
Mhm.
I'm going to adamantly say the opposite.
Allow me to play devil's advocate.
Yeah, exactly. God, that picture of that guy where it says, "Hi, I'm like a I'm like a 20-something white guy. I love to play devil's advocate." Like, it's
Mhm.
like there's so many people like that online. But the main thing I'm getting at is that they like with them not taking strong stances on things that are typically their like stance, like facts and logic and all this shit and science, right? Them
Yeah.
disagreeing with that, I think, is losing them credibility in their own circles.
Yeah.
And I mean, even fucking Joe, like Monkey Man Rogan, roasted Ben Shabino
Yeah.
recently. Like, I don't know if you saw that, but
No. No.
even Rogan, they were talking about the Colin Kaepernick thing.
Yeah.
And even Rogan and fucking what's the name of his little mate,
I don't know. I
young
don't
fucking
watch the Joe
Steve or
Rogan
whatever.
podcast.
But like, I don't know, like the guy who does all like the production stuff for his podcast.
Yeah.
Even they pulled up like the video of him talking to a vet about, how to express his discontent, basically.
Yeah.
And the guy that told him to take a knee, so like that. So even Joe Rogan is fucking putting Shabino on blast, and he's like, "Oh, he said that, but he changed his mind." Like, yeah, people can change their fucking minds, brother. Like,
Yeah.
that's how things work. That's how like society should work. That's how we should be. We learn and we change our position. Like,
Mhm.
you don't just say that someone said something 3 years ago and then they say today that their position is different and go, yeah, but you said that 3 years ago.
Yeah.
That was your position. Like, fucking what? What?
Like what?
But
What did
yeah,
they
I mean,
expect? Like if you try and change someone's mind, your goal isn't to present them with a counter argument, and that counter argument turns them to dust. You're meant to like,
yeah, this is where like these debate lords, and this whole like it's a very like young right wing kind of thing, right? All these YouTube debate lords and all
yeah,
this shit. That's where like they fall flat because they're not there for an to actually change people's minds,
yeah,
and they're not there to sort of like try and help people understand their ideology. They're there for like epic owns. That's all they care about. Like, oh, you got dunked on in a
yeah,
debate. Like, that's not what you should care about. You should care about like instilling the values that you stand for.
yeah. Oh, well, I think it's just a natural progression from like when we were growing up on the internet, when you had those like people who would just say they were atheists just to be contrarian, and had I'm that well-known meme of "I am euphoric," not because of some phony god. But
Yeah,
I think it's just a natural progression of that, and you get to a point or a certain age where it's like you realize like it's fine. People change. People can change. Like you have to reach out and talk to people to change them. You can't just
yeah,
sit on your
absolutely.
side of the fence and shout over the other
Yeah,
side.
like you need to educate. Like, educate is
Yeah.
part of it, right?
And that goes
Like
for
the,
both. Like, so if you get like
yeah,
a
100%.
typical right winger or a left winger who is over the age of like 28, they're probably like, okay, I want to have a talk about this. Whereas, like, as you say, like the younger people always like, oh, going for like epic owns or whatever. Like, if you're that type of person, don't try and give yourself a platform. Like the reason that I've never got into like sort of things online or like trying to be a political activist is because I know in my spiteful heart that I cannot separate my disdain for Tories from
Yeah,
my
yeah.
brain. Like I can't, I don't want to engage with them. I don't.
This is the same thing with me. Like, I'm very like I I enjoy um like watching political content. I watch a lot of leftist political content on Twitch, on
Yeah,
YouTube, stuff like that. And I like to educate myself and learn, not even just learn, like not even learn like how to argue with people, but just sort of like to understand what the point is, and if
yeah,
someone counterpoints it, like why their counterpoint is wrong. Like, just sort of just understanding the issues and just understanding things.
yeah,
But I would never have the confidence to sort of do that myself, because I know, as you say, I wouldn't be like, a lot of these people are very willing to accept people with alternate views into the like discussion and just
yeah,
explain to them why they're wrong and just talk to them about why they are wrong. But for me, I would lose it. Like,
yeah,
I can't. One, I'm not very good at. You've probably be able to tell with the amount of ums and ahs I do. Stringing a sentence together when it's really sort of important. Like when
yeah,
it's a super super important topic. If I'm pre-prepared stuff, I can't just fire things off like that. I can't just have that kind of back and forth. Um, but also, I think, yeah, I immediately am very very dismissive. I know this is not a good quality, but I'm very very dismissive of people with like not just not just alternate views, but like extremely alternate views. Like when
yeah,
they are like the exact opposite of mine, I'm very dismissive. I do believe that there are some people that you cannot change,
yeah. Oh,
especially the
yeah,
older generations. I believe there's a point where you go too far and you cannot be changed.
mhm,
Like, you cannot be saved. Like, you are too far gone. But I definitely think that the people with this sort of, not empathy, but this sort of like sensibility, um
patience. I believe
yeah,
is a
and
big.
patience to sort of actually discuss this with people. um yeah, yeah,
But yeah, I think like and I don't. The thing is with myself is I don't trust myself to be impartial with things that matter on that scale. Like, say, if I ever went into politics, um, I'd just be a spiteful arse, and not, and like I believe I'd do things that on a base level are good for everyone. But at the same time, like, say if some dude who owns like a Fortune 500 company was like coming to me and like he's like, oh, I need outlined a big plan, like I need these tax breaks because this, and this. I wouldn't even entertain it. I'd just be like, no, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
And that would fuck up. That might fuck up the area because we sort of need them to be there for is and like sort of deal with that evil under capitalism to bring like prosperity to the area because we need the extra funding or whatever. But I couldn't separate my own personal feelings about like exploitative rich people from what I would need to do as like I don't know the mayor of that area. Like I wouldn't be able to do that shit. Fuck that shit. But to bring it back round to returning to Monkey, I think
Here we go.
I think money is the single worst thing to ever happen to the human race. Um, until the next comet, whenever that's scheduled to wipe us all out. But yeah, Return to Monkey and just doing things off a meritocracy, protecting the vulnerable among us. I think just doing general, simple monkey things like good, like don't put your hand in this fire, it bad, just it's common sense things. Because I feel like one of the most insidious things about debate culture, and not to say that we shouldn't debate anything, debate is heavily encouraged when it's done for the right reasons, but it's sort of been warped into this thing where it's not about is this
Well,
right,
that's
is
the
this
thing.
wrong, examine.
It's
It's
not
sort of
about the
like I have
discussion.
this
It's not.
shitty view, let me see what logical backflips I can do to make
Yeah,
me
that's
not
the
seem
thing.
like a
It's
monster.
not about the like the actual like information and sort. It's not about informing people and sort of getting people on board with your point anymore. It's about these epic owns. You know what I mean? Like
Mm,
this is why people think that people like Shabino are good debaters because they just run around in circles, but they speak so quickly. And they speak so quickly and with such confidence that people are like, "Yep,
yeah.
he won that debate." It's insane. Like it's actually it's bad. It's 100% bad. And then you get these people that because of that and they're influenced by that, you have a slight disagreement, debate me. Like no, absolutely not. I'm making a point. Shut up. Like
Yeah.
I'm saying I like this. And you're like I don't like this. Debate me. Like no, go away. Who are you? Like leave me alone.
Yeah, and they use the weirdest things, like they use false equivalency, straw man arguments, and it's like that's not what's going on here. And I think one of the most annoying things for me is people will always want to try and debate at times where it's just not appropriate. Like the amount of fedora edge lords who, in the middle of like what was happening with George Floyd, they're like, "Oh, but let's look at his past and stuff like that." I'm like, "No,
It's ridiculous.
no."
Yeah.
Like, say,
It's
do we have to turn up to everyone who dies in your family at their funeral and be like, I know you're all sad about this, and the circumstances surrounding their death weren't ideal, but think about all the bad things they did in their life.
isn't
Maybe
it?
they
Like
deserve
it's
to die.
I
Like,
think
no.
the in general, and I don't know, like obviously, I don't know if this is a continuous thing that's been happening for a long time, but I think empathy as a whole is just leaving people. Like people just don't have empathy.
They
Like
don't.
empathy is just completely like some people are completely just devoid of it.
Mhm.
Like they would rather have this like epic own moment like than understand things or
Yeah.
actually care about how people are feeling. Like feelings became this thing. Like facts don't care about your feelings, all that shit, right?
Mhm.
Like emotion became like a bad thing. Like
Yeah.
having emotions became a bad thing, and I think part of it all is like the whole sort of like online culture that I also grew up in,
Mhm.
and that I've sort of fallen out of, is that young people that don't really have many friends or have some other stuff going on
Mhm.
go online and they meet other like-minded people, and if one of those individuals or some of those individuals have these like extreme views
Yeah.
or just like generally negative people or just like
Yeah.
just not nice people, you fall in with that, you fall in with the crowd, And this is why they do it as well. A lot of these like right-wing grifters and stuff, they're all on like, they're all on 4chan, they're all on
Mm.
like YouTube, they're on all these places where a lot of young people go. Because if you're young and devoid of any sort of attention or friendship, you're looking for a crowd to get involved in.
Yeah.
And if a crowd says, "Hey, come on, we'll take you in, we'll take you in, come on,
Yeah.
you're one of us," like they just go with it. And I think it's just, yeah, this constant cycle of people doing that, and then just like, it's become like cool to just be negative about everything.
Yeah.
It's the cool thing to do. Like, let's shit on people. Like, you said something, you enjoy something, fuck you. That sucks. That's the
I think
worst
the
thing.
worst
I hate
thing
like, ugh.
to happen in terms of like fostering empathy and like human relations in the past, like however long the internet's been up and these cultures have sort of festered, is the removal from emotion or the painting. I mean, the painting of emotion as something negative goes back far beyond before the internet. They've used it to keep women down for like years and years because, like, oh, she's on a period.
Yeah,
She
yeah,
can't be trusted, blah, blah, blah. But, like, the thing is, like, you can't have logic without emotion, and you can't have emotion without logic because emotion should inform your logic. So, like, say there could be a situation where doing the logical thing is spiteful or it's harmful. So you need to use your emotion to think, oh, what are the effects of this? Can I find a better resolution? And on the other token, if your emotions are going haywire, you have to temper that in with logic. They work together, but for some reason these weirdos are like, oh no, like if you raise your voice, you've lost the argument. If you start shouting, you've lost the argument. It's because emotion comes out in times of, like, you saw it with what happened at the end of June with the George Floyd thing, and the end of May going into June. It's because, like, people, when emotion is shared and empathy is actually weaponized, it's a real force for change, and people are scared of that. Um,
yep.
and also, if you can suppress people's emotions, it keeps people docile. It's like that workplace culture thing that's enforced. It's like, oh, we don't talk to each other about salary. It's not the right thing to do.
Yeah,
But, like,
exactly. The only person that benefits is the company
yeah,
itself, right? Like, you
and
know.
it, it causes this sort of hypocrisy where people aren't allowed to feel their emotions, and they're not allowed to, and people go so hard on suppressing these things, yet they're squeamish when they need to be weaponized against or mobilized against something that is really evil. And the best example I can give is all the recent stuff that came out after, don't mean to get super serious again, but like when that Epstein, his girlfriend got arrested, and
Yeah.
all this stuff's coming out, and you look at the media and like everyone talking about it, and they're being so squeamish about it when we need to say like things how they are. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
Prince Andrew had forceful sex with an underage woman, whereas that headline should read Prince Andrew raped a young girl.
Yeah,
Like, they're
exactly.
trying to sugarcoat
Exactly.
it. And yes, I know you have to consider things like triggering people and stuff like that. But at the same time, when you're pursuing justice for a crime, you cannot sugarcoat it. You have to give people what is happening. It's the same way where, like, if a black kid gets shot, he gets called all sorts. But if it's a fucking white kid shoots up a theater, he gets taken to Burger King. Like, you have to come with the same energy for all evil, but that's just not the case. And that's because people don't know how to use their emotions anymore. They don't know how to use empathy. Like, say, if you see something, like, I, even in myself, in my own experience, if I see a headline that's like, so and so is caught with an underage woman, forced to have sex with her, and stuff like, oh, forced to have sex with them. I'm like, that's terrible. Something needs to be done about that. But I know I'd be a lot more outraged if the headline was like, oh, so and so raped this young girl. Because I'm like, that's fucking horrible. Because it's sort of, and I don't know if it's just years of living under capitalism, but like my monkey brain, again, returning to monkey,
Again, back
it's
to
like,
monkey.
these words
We're
aren't
we're always looping back.
these words aren't as harsh. It mustn't be as bad. But if you sit down and look at it, it's the same thing, just sugar coated, and it's disgusting. Where we finally might get to make progress against this network of terrible people, but the media just aren't handling it right. and they
Well,
it's going to lose momentum if they keep.
this is why. This is also why, like, why I don't like like I say don't like. I'm just not on board with liberals, right? Like,
Yeah,
this is a big distinction to make that a lot of people don't make. As
yeah,
people are like, you're either right wing or you're a liberal, right? Which is not true.
yeah,
Like, liberals are a very like, you know, big group
yes,
of like left wingers, but it's not, all of us.
mhm,
Um, but this is the thing, like, because a lot of lib shit is like all this shit, like they like the like for some reason instead of trying to argue things and trying to actually like make people understand things or bring
yeah,
forward good points, it's all very like Orange Man bad kind of like
yeah. They do
please
the bare
stop.
minimum, basically.
Like this is really cringe. Like just stop, but it's the same thing with that. Like if I feel like a lot of lib shit would it's like sugarcoating things when it's and it's the same like that a lot
Yeah,
of people on the right do too. Centrist moment. Um it's like sugarcoating things when it's somebody who's like on your side or someone who's like
yes,
affiliated with you, which isn't it shouldn't be happening. That's not a thing. Like if someone like so and so has been found out to have done this incredibly horrible sexual assault,
mhm.
it doesn't matter like where they lie on the political spectrum or what organization they're part of. Get rid. You
Shoot them
deserve,
into the
you
sun.
know, you deserve to face justice. That's it. But I think people definitely like sugarcoat things and try and like I don't know, look after people that are their close like affiliates or whatever. But
Well, like I say, like I think what's happening on the right at the moment with like Bean Shapiro getting cannibalized by his own people for not seeing the right science or preaching false news and stuff like that when their platform is anti-fake news and stuff like that. I think that just happening now over there is a sign that the two, like your like left and right as a concept, is just fallen apart because it's been happening on the left for years. They're just cannibalizing each other because liberals don't do enough, and if you go too far with the left, everyone's just giving up. So it's like no one really knows what to do, and that's how we got ourselves into the mess we're in now, where nobody really knows how to move forward.
yeah, it's I don't know. It's all a big mess, and it's all a big mess. But I'm hopeful for the future. I just think like I don't know. I hope like this time of being locked up indoors and stuff is like a good reflection time for people. But
Absolutely
it's
not.
it's like it's just it seems to just be a time that people just have more time to make bad arguments, like and shitty points.
Yeah,
Like maybe when everybody can go outside again, some of these debate lords, shit lords will just who aren't even debate lords. They're just like fucking idiots, like who just have free time now. We'll
yeah,
go back to I don't know playing lacrosse or something and not have time to talk on the internet. Anyway, speaking of going outside, by the way, just to segue into a
yeah.
little less serious news again,
Hmm.
um, I went outside. There you
Discuss.
go. That's it. That's the story. I went outside yesterday. Not yesterday, day before. I'm losing my
Nice.
days. Yeah, I went to Rotterdam for a little walkies. You know what I mean? Got a little train. Went to Rotterdam for a bit. Saw the butt plug gnome. Very cool.
Nice.
Very cool. Big gnome. Big butt plug. Very very nice.
Was there anything else in Rotterdam, or did you literally just go for that?
Just went saw the gnome, went home. No, nice place to be honest. It's very like so. I've lived in Amsterdam for like a year and a half now.
Yeah,
Amsterdam is super old school,
yeah.
but Rotterdam was destroyed in the war. Rotterdam was like
Okay,
obliterated in the war, so a lot of the stuff in Rotterdam is new. It's very
okay.
modern, and I'm much more a fan of that. To be honest with you, like I like going and seeing old sort of buildings and stuff like that. Like I can appreciate old architecture and all
Yeah.
that. But in terms of a place where I live, I
Mhm.
would rather be surrounded by like I'm anti Amprim here. I'm sorry. I would rather be like surrounded by
Disgusting.
modern buildings. You know,
See
I
that's where we differ because I'm very much maybe not like ancient buildings. I like looking at them and stuff. I think Newcastle strikes a happy medium, but I'm very much what's the word? What's the type of architecture where everything's just blocks?
oh Shit, yeah, I don't know.
I don't want the modern wavy, everything's white and glass nonsense.
Yeah, no,
Not
I get
utilitarian. It's
like you mean brutalism.
Chad brutalism. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I'm also a fan of that. I think they look insanely cool, in the most like depressing way.
Yeah, it's
But
functional.
well, I was saying I like sort of unique architecture and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like old buildings, especially to like live in, are just not for me.
Oh,
Like
absolutely. Yeah, I
it's
understand.
just not the vibe. Like I as much as I preach against it, I like these like brand new sort of modern apartment buildings that are turning up everywhere
Yeah.
lately. I know they're turning up a lot in the UK as well. I like them. I think I think it's somewhere I'd like to live. Like one of these, those modern apartment blocks where they have like gyms on site and like all that kind of shit. I'm about that. I think it's cool.
Yeah, but at the same time, like I guess apartment buildings are a different kettle of
Different
fish.
to homes,
I've
yeah.
never I've never lived in one, but I think in terms of like houses, I'm always like because me and Laura have been looking for around houses and stuff. Because looking to buy one in the near future, and it's like the new houses are like built in no time at all. The walls are paper thin. The wiring's always dodgy. And but if you go back and like get one of the houses from like the 70s, 80s, like the one we're renting at the moment now, like it's reliable, it's solid, it retains
Yeah,
better. Like
for sure. I mean, like I'm not really clued up on housing because I am a world traveling man
this
who
podcast
lives
is
in a
about to
bunch
get
of
very
random.
boring.
Yeah, it lives in a bunch of random places. So yeah, to spice it up, fuck, I try to think of something to spice it up. I said that without actually having it in my head, like in hopes that when I said it, I would just like have a jazzy word for it. But no, housing and apartments are very different. But
Yeah,
I'm an apartment guy. I've lived in rental properties for ages. I know it's not like the best thing for money because
yeah,
owning a place is much better. But I'm just not settled anyway. I'm constantly moving, man.
not even the tune.
Well, it's the shitty thing about the games industry, to be honest with you. And I really do hope that we start to see a change because of Rona, like,
Yeah.
and people working from home.
Mhm.
It's just such a pain in the ass that every single job, or even in some places, promotions are in different countries.
Yeah,
Like you can't just say, right, I am gonna go to like Norway and I'm gonna start my family in Norway and work on my job there. It's like,
yeah,
no, so you want to go up to the next level? Congratulations, you're a manager now. Off you go to the other side of the world. Like,
yeah.
wait, what? And if you say no, then sorry, you don't get the promo.
I had a
And
very
that,
interesting conversation on Friday
mm,
with. So I'm a community manager at the moment. For anyone listening, who knows or wants to care, and the person above me is what's known as a com dev. I mean, I could also move in a different direction upwards, but for the Just Dance brand, a name's Monique, great person, wonderful, enjoy working with her. We had a lot of fun. I almost managed to convince her to slide a picture of Don't Be Thick Snake into one of our presentations for the ComDev strat, but we couldn't.
uh,
And
that's a
and
shame.
she was like, "Oh, so do you ever want to become a ComDev? I could like help you with resources and stuff like that." And like, because she's doing the ComDev plan at the moment, so if I wanted to do something like that, I should give me visibility on like how to set one up and stuff like that. And I was like, "No, I'm good. I literally don't ever want to leave Newcastle." Um, and she was like, "Yeah, it's kind of weird how in the company you have to move to like Paris or like Montreal if you want to like move the step up." I was like, "Yeah, but like hopefully that'll change at the moment." So I literally had that conversation on Friday. So it's definitely I hope it changes because
Yeah,
I'm always down to earn more money and have more responsibility because I'm one of those nerds who likes to have their entire day busy, so it just flies by. Um, but at the moment, I'm just sort of like happy where I am because I don't ever want to leave Newcastle.
yeah, it's one of those things that I just hope it changes. Like I get it in some sense, but it's just too much. Like
Yeah.
it's way too much. Like it's our industry is not a traditional one. You know, like a lot of
Yes.
places, you join a company and you work up, and that company is based in one place,
Mhm.
and you just work upwards from there. Like you stay in the same place and you just work upwards. Whereas with games and I guess tech as a whole, it's probably like just the whole like tech sector. You move a lot. I think
Yeah.
you end up moving a lot because either you get a promotion or like there's a better offer, and there's a lot of different companies doing like offering the same kind of jobs. You want to change, you want to do something new, but it's all it's all across the fucking world.
Yep.
Um, and I really do hope we start to get some sort of like maybe even just a choice if you want to move or not.
Yeah.
Because it is painful trying to like as I approach my 30s. God, I know. Um, as I approach my 30s and I start, not thinking about like settling down because
Yeah.
I'm a very lonely person. Um, like, but
Cry on the pod, or you're a coward.
yeah, I might cry a little bit on the pod, get some attention. Like, please listen to us. I'm very lonely. If you are single out there, no. Like as I reach that point in my life where I kind of would want to do that though, or would
Yeah.
want to like just have like an established house and sort of place where I just am, where I'm
Yeah.
just gonna be. It's just not possible. It's just absolutely not possible.
Mhm.
You just have it's like I don't know a lot of the again with this job I'm working it remotely because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would have had to move immediately. I would have had to just move now. And then what happens if, like, say, in 2 years' time, I was like, I want to work somewhere else? Well, where are you going? Where are you off to? Like, you getting the plane over to this side of the world. And then if I wanted to go too far out, I wouldn't be able to see my family because it's so far away.
Yeah.
It's wild, man. It's wild. But hopefully it changes. We'll see.
Well, the thing for me is ever since I was little, maybe not so much recently because Disney took them over and Disney's corporate practices are a bit scary at times. But I always wanted to work for Marvel in just some capacity. And I
Mm.
know if I ever actually wanted to follow through with that, I'd have to move countries. And yes, they have an office in London, but if you know anything about England, London bad. Um, so it's weird because I'm one of the few people who absolutely loves the place they're from. Like you get all, I mean, it was very much a thing in the early 2000s to like early 2010s where every pop punk song was about leaving whatever wherever you were born because it was shit and all your friends were cool but there was nothing to do. Whereas I never had that. I've always loved Newcastle. It's the greatest place on earth, in my opinion, and that's no hyperbole. It just feels so safe. Everyone, well, not everyone, but for the most part, people are chill. I know where everything is. Everything's so convenient. Rent isn't too crazy or anything like that. It's just a nice place to be, and like I know if I raised children here, they'd have a nice childhood. Um, but it's like, but businesses don't adhere to that. So like, if I wanted to earn big bucks, I'd have to like move to San Francisco and
Yeah,
stuff.
you'd have to go somewhere, right? That's the
Yeah,
thing. Yeah, it's just it's not fair, is it? Really,
absolutely not.
like having to move so much for especially in an industry where most of the shit we can just do from home. In all
Absolutely.
honesty, like I have no reason to go into an office except for like just to be cordial and
Yeah.
polite.
The only reason I need to go into the office currently for this job, which I've been able to do for the past however many months, is stream because I don't have the setup. I don't have a good enough webcam to do it. I would love to do it. I really enjoyed streaming for UPlay. Um, but other than that, I don't. And my productivity's gone through the roof. And I know there's always that stigma of like, oh, someone's working from home, they can just fob off their work and stuff. But I wish people wouldn't do that because there's people like me whose productivity's gone through the roof. And I just like being at home and it's close to everything. So, like, on my lunch, I can actually go to the fucking bank, which is impossible for an adult most of the time because you got to take a day off work or whatever just to get there. Um, it's just so much easier in my quality of life. I've just been a happier person for the past however many months. And it's just made life easier. And
And that's what it's all about, right?
yeah,
Yeah, that's what it should be about. Like, I mean, that's the thing. I'm not like obviously, who wants to work. But I'll happily do my work and stuff like that as long as I can just, as long as the rest of it is calm and like
Yeah,
I enjoy the rest, I'm happy. And I think that's what work from home is like. Although obviously with the lockdown, it's not been ideal
yeah,
because I've had to like, I can't just regularly do stuff outside. I think that's the only issue. Like I can't just go to like a restaurant or something and feel comfortable or whatever. That's the only reason why I'm kind of just stuck inside all the time.
yeah,
Like I think work from home as a whole has been a lot better for someone like me. Like I can do my shit here. I don't need to worry about commuting. If you also one of the best things that no one talks about, if you're in a fucking bad mood, you don't have to see anybody.
yeah,
Like you just be in your bad mood and do your work.
yeah. But the thing is, for me, is like because where I live in Newcastle, it's just small place, and my parents live here, so
Mm.
like it would be one of the best things before the lockdowns. Cause I got to work from home a lot before the Christmas because I was moving house, um, and it was just so nice. Like even if my day was stressful because I had a lot of stuff to do, but that's sort of like as I explained, I like stressful because it makes me feel like I'm actually doing something.
Yeah.
Not when it's too stressful, obviously, because you can explode. But like, yeah, I was just on lunch, just being able to walk over and see my mom, and my dad, and just be like, "Hey, how's everyone?" and then feel better coming back, or like just have a walk to the shop. And I know there's like shops usually near most workplaces, but it's like, oh, I'm having to go back to the office. Whereas I'm like, if I'm working from home, I'm like, okay, I'll go out, go to the shop, come back. I'm back in my home. Um, and I've not got to worry about going to the fridge and using someone else's milk or anything crazy like that. Like,
Yeah, like
nice.
it's just such a nicer vibe. Like I don't know, maybe it's weird, but I just vibe so much better on my own at home. Maybe I'm
Yeah,
just a
it's
weird
nice.
loner, but I like being able to just like, as you say, oh, something was stressful, meeting was bad or whatever. Fuck it, I can just like go outside my apartment, or I can just
Yeah.
go and sit in the living room or something for
Walk to
ten
the back
minutes.
door
Like,
and just breathe and then come back
yeah,
in.
like I don't need to like I don't know. You don't have that pressure of people seeing you doing
Yeah.
whatever you're doing and being like, oh, where's he off to? You know what I mean? Like
And
if
for
you're in a bad
me,
mood, like I say, like okay, if you're at work in a bad mood, people are like, "Oh, is everything all right with you? Is everything all right with you?" I don't
yeah,
want to have that conversation.
yeah, just getting
Like,
bombarded by fluorescent lights.
yeah.
There's loads of
Plus,
windows, but none of them open.
I can do my fucking laundry,
Yeah,
which I always forget to do.
yeah,
But I can actually do it when I'm working from home because I'm just like, oh yeah, I'll just walk into the living room and do it.
yeah. And
Living room?
because I'm working from home, I'm usually relaxed, so I don't use my breaks to like separate myself from the work because I'm in an environment where I'm feeling good. So like on my breaks, I'll just do housework that I would have done after work and free up more time for myself. It's so much better. Like I cannot stop just preaching about how good working from home is. And I know some people need that office because they need like a regimented. It's like a mental thing where they think I can do better work when I'm in an office because that's a place for work. Whereas I've never had that. You can give me a laptop and just sit me on a rock at Tynemouth Beach and I'll get my work done. I'm give a fuck.
Yeah, yeah, that's the thing, innit? I just fucking I love vibing, bro. I love vibing in my own space, like getting my shit done and then just vibing, you know?
It just does wonders for my mental health and just like work life balance.
Same, brother. Same. Like just having time at home. And just be I don't know, I feel like when you're working from home, you're also just like your home life just becomes more, right? Like I don't know, I
Yeah,
feel I have been so much more attached to my home
yeah,
and making my home
look nice and stuff.
like an actual home,
Hmm.
rather than just a place I sleep. It's way more common. And I treat myself way better mentally. I treat myself way better mentally. Like I don't go to work and have a bad day and then go to the bar next door for a few pints, like
Hmm.
because I had a bad day. You know what I mean? And then come home and then just sleep. And then, oh, I forgot to do my laundry. Oh, I forgot to do this. I know. I treat myself so much better when I'm just in my space,
And just
right?
like being around things that bring you comfort, like is I know in particular stressful days that I've had over the past few months, like all I had to do was just get up, go into the room where we keep. the tortoise, and just talk to the tortoise for like 20 minutes.
That's fucking weird, mate.
He doesn't care.
Oh,
He doesn't
fucking
understand what I'm saying. He'll never have to worry about a corporate structure. But he just
yeah.
plods
It's
along, and I'm like,
I don't
okay,
know. It's like
great, feel good, back to work.
yeah, exactly that, man. It's one of those, it's just like having those home comforts and just being able to like do what you want to do. Like I can even go like on my lunch break, I'll go and sit and I'll just watch something
Yeah,
in the living room. Like I'll just go and sit and watch something in the living room. Like
yeah.
why not? Like why the fuck not, dude?
Plus,
Because
like,
I have half an hour to do it.
it's just dumb stuff. Like, obviously, again, it depends on the person. Because some people genuinely get distracted by this stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
But
this is true.
one
Like
of the most productive periods was like near. I think it was early stages of lockdown when that Michael Jordan documentary just come out, and I just stuck that on the TV, and I was just in the living room, just knocking out work because like I was happy and I was just watching something that I like. Because when I'm watching something I'm interested in, my brain's more engaged. And I was just doing more than that I had done when I was in the office, and I'm like,
yeah, I feel like even sometimes if I put some like Netflix on or something like that
mhm,
whilst I'm just at home working,
yeah,
I just get shit done. Like it doesn't distract me because I'm just it's almost like I have this dual mindset where like if I am just working, I have this other part of my brain that's like I need something else though.
yeah,
Like I need something to stop me like derailing and just not and kind of being okay with this.
yeah. It helps
And then
my
if I
time
have something else,
management.
I'm like, all right, yeah, true. Because you're like, okay, this is a half-hour episode, right?
Yeah,
Like,
like if I don't do enough work in this like 45-minute Michael Jordan episode, I know I'm slacking. So let's see like how much I can do within this time. But like I know not everyone sees it that way, and they're probably just not do anything and sit there like a potato and watch it. But like I always have to do that. It's even when I'm playing a video game, I always have to have like a video on the side. I just like doing more than one thing.
yeah, same, same. I do this when I do anything really. I'm very like, yeah, multifaceted sort of just
Mhm.
things constantly. I'm always just doing something else. Like I'm never really fully focused on one thing, which is probably like just I probably just have like ADHD or something, and my attention span's just fucked. But it works for me. That's the thing, right? It works for me. It does it for me.
Yeah.
It's what I
I
like.
think it's just a result of like having two monitors, like and wanting
Yeah,
to
it's
use
great.
them or like doing more
Oh,
things at
what I've
once.
heard.
And like another thing that I developed over the past, I don't know, 7 years is like I can't eat food unless I'm watching something. And I don't know
Oh,
if that
same,
that's bad.
same. Yeah, but you know what the worst thing about that is, right? And I do this all the time. Listeners, I guarantee you all fucking do this as well. Sit there at the fucking table or in the living room or whatever.
Yeah.
You throw up Netflix or something. Your food's in front of you. Takes you about 15, 20 minutes to find a fucking show to watch.
Yeah.
You're just like, what am I gonna watch? What do I feel like watching? And by the time like your food's like getting cold, man. Like, but I
Yeah.
can't do it. I need to find something that I want to watch. I need to find something that I'm gonna like put on. Even if I like put a YouTube video on and the first 5 seconds don't like grip me, I'm like, all right, like no,
Yeah.
this ain't gonna cut it. Like,
Yeah. I find the only time I can be fine with eating and like not having something to watch is obviously when I'm out or like it's date night and like me and Laura go somewhere to eat because then we're just talking to each other and it's nice. And that's like that takes the place of like the stimulation because it's nice just to have those conversations. But like if I'm sitting on my own in the office, I'm like, I need to watch something or else I won't enjoy this food as much.
yeah, exactly that though. Like I feel like it is just one of those things where like I don't know, like you kind of get used to it. It's like a habit, right? It just
But I
becomes a
also think
habit.
it might be like a subconscious thing of like I don't know if it's just our generation or like maybe the generation after us, but it's sort of like I never feel like I have enough time. So like
Oh yeah,
being
for
able
sure.
to multitask is like satisfying for me because I'm like I'm not like eating my food then watching half an hour of this. I'm doing both at the same time, so I have more time to do other things.
Yeah, and I think that's like part of why I like working from home as well.
Yeah.
Like it's just so much more time to do the other stuff that I would want to do
Hmm.
that you don't have when you sort of made to go to an office building like every single day. Like yeah, 100% agree with that, man. 100% agree with that.
But yeah, that I don't think I have anything else to talk about today.
Yeah, I mean we've gone like multiple ends of the fucking spectrum today. We've gone from like, fun, happy times to serious politics to boring old man shit. We're
Come full circle. We have literally
we really
returned the
have
monkey.
a plethora of talents, don't we? We're just, we're all over the place.
It's
We're all over the
fantastic.
place. You like it, we've got it.
But yeah,
I should
so do you
just, I
want
just
to want to let anybody know about your stream schedule and stuff coming
Yeah,
up?
dude. So yeah, you can catch me at twitch.tv/JimothyZ. I know I'm trying to get rid of the Z, but I can't. I'll probably be
Nice.
streaming all week this week, like 3 or 4 times. Well, I want to play some Fall Guys on stream. Like the game goes away today, but I think it's back on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be playing Fall Guys on stream. Like it's funny stream content. I can chat to people whilst I play, so I'll be playing that. You
Nice.
can also check me out at twitter.com/JimothyTV. Find all my weird takes and shit memes. Yeah, what about you? What about you, my friend? Where can people find more of you?
Well, I guess on Twitter you can follow at StatureUB, but I don't really post much anymore. Not because anything has exploded or like I hate Twitter all of a sudden or whatever, but I just haven't had much to talk about in terms of stuff outwardly, because at the moment all I've been doing is reading a bunch of comics. But yeah, if you want there and see, like, sometimes I post pictures of the comics I'm buying and stuff. That's about it. Other than this podcast, I'm pretty just happy. I feel like when more stuff's happening in my actual life, like we're getting a puppy and stuff, the less I talk on social media. So I apologize for that. So at StatureUB.
Hey, no, that's good, man. That's good. Like I've been doing a lot less,
Yeah.
lot less doom scrolling shit. It's satisfying, dude.
Yeah.
It's satisfying. Just turn the phone off. Go and playing some like what you call it? Go and playing some Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, brother, in the words of Hulk Hogan, except
Hell yeah, brother.
leathery old racist.
In the words of not racist Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
From a different universe.
Yep.
I mean, the Hogan verse is wide and expansive, right?
Yeah.
Brother.
The hate
Anyway,
the
sister. Yeah, on that note.
All right, goodbye.
On that note, goodbye, guys. We'll see you next time.